კარი დიპლომატიისკენ და ეხლა ეს რამოდენიმე ინტერვიუ დავწერდა სინოდის სახეებთან და ნუნუკაც დიდი მადლობა გზელისთვის მოგცა საშუალება რომ თქვენთან მოსულიყავ 53 საჯარო სკოლა ეს პროექტი ამერიკული სახელმწიფო პარლამენტის მიერ არის გამოცხადებული კარი დიპლომატიისკენ და ჩვენ ავირჩიეთ კატეგორია უსაფრთხო გარემო ანუ 100 წუთს დაგაცნოთ გვინდა სამ საკითხს როგორც ინგლისურად გვინდა რომ გითხრათ შეიძლება Jamila, please.
So we take part in the project, international project, which was founded by the American Department, and we chose the category which is called international security. So we want to know your opinion about terrorism.
About terrorism?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think? What is caused?
What caused this problem?
What is the cause of
Yes.
terrorism?
Yes.
Okay, terrorism is bad, as you know, right? And scares people. And terrorism is war between several parties, between many parties, a multilateral war, multilateral war, and this war has participants, you know. Some of the participants are strong, some are weak, and some are not. And periodically, participants have success over each other. Like, for example, the Twin Tower attack on Twin Towers, you know, on Twins in New York is an example how terrorists, you know, were victorious over America. You know, they took over America that way, and they damaged, you know, the American wonderful life, you know, terribly. So what happens here? You know, terrorism is a new type of a war, where one party is invisible, and you do not see it. In usual conventional wars, you know, parties, the warring parties are seen. But in this particular war, which is called terrorist war, you know, one party is not seen, the other party is doing everything, you know, to detect the terrorist, okay, which is attacking. Now, what to do? You know, some people are choosing, some countries are choosing, you know, to be terrorists, and some are not, you know, like America. America, you know, America is a country which is a prosperous country, and people are working there, and the life is beautiful in America, and all of a sudden, because, you know, there appeared a new type of an adversary, now America has to be equipped in a totally different way, which means, you know, billions and billions and billions of dollars, you know, to protect the nation, right? So there are many reasons of terrorism. First of all, this is a discontent of the people in different parts of the world. Who is a terrorist? The terrorists are not only just crazy people, you know. They have their reasons, you know, they are fighting for. And the number one reason of terrorism probably is the discontent, dissatisfaction with life of these people. They want to live better. They do not have their own devices, their own instruments, tools, you know, to be better off. And they are fighting others, you know, to acquire better life, you know. They are seeking, you know, for better life in a different way, which is called the terrorist way, violent way. Terrorism is something totally opposed to the non-violent world, okay? Now, as I understand, you know, theoretically speaking, terrorism is a result of clash of civilizations, I would say that. You know, there are many different civilizations in the world, as there are different American authors, you know, who would say that. Some would not agree, but I'm more inclined, you know, to say that one of the reasons of terrorism and proliferation of terrorism is clash between different civilizations. Like, for example, take the Muslim world. You know, those terrorists, as we understand, you know, are coming from Muslim world more than from our world, Western world, right? So those are probably two different civilizations, and they have their probably historical detriments, you know, that have suffered very badly, and now they want to take over in a violent way. They are not patient, probably, you know. They want to achieve, you know, some success very quickly, and because they could not produce as much as they want, they are, you know, resorting to a very to unlikely, unacceptable, atrocious ways, to acquire something. But I think, terrorism will never pay. The mankind, the civilized part of the world, part of which is not, they are not these terrorists, the civilized part of the world probably will defy any attempt of terrorism. And I don't think, terrorism will prevail in the world. Finally, they will be defeated. Why? Because, it is not what God wants, It is something against God's will. First of all, to say it, based on religion. On the other hand, it is against the will of the majority of the world, of good people, kind people, working people, laborious people, people who are thinking about better future for their children, for their countries, etc., etc. So I understand terrorism, but on the other hand, sometimes I'm thinking maybe these guys have their reason not to be terrorists. But because terrorism, theoretically and practically, is connected with violence, there is no justification, for any terrorism, for any terrorist, whatever lofty or justified the goal could be, they may not be justified, because terrorism is violence, and violence is against the better part of civilization. That's what I understand under terrorism. Okay.
Bravo. Your friend who we talked with told us that terrorism would be defeated.
Yeah.
Everyone thought that
Yes.
I'm
it
sure.
Yes.
I'm sure. Cannot prevail. Why? Because the bigger part of the world is a good world. Smaller part of the world is bad world. So terrorism is part of the bad world, and we will defeat it.
Oh.
And I'm proud that it is on the side of those countries which are part of civilization. And I'm proud because I'm proud with Georgia, because Georgia is part of fight against terrorism, and we are together, the rest of the civilized world, defying the attack of terrorism. So we might even think, that, and if we do that, we might have a chance, to be attacked by terrorists. So yes, there is always a chance to be attacked by terrorists. Well, those little bullies, who we have in schools, little bullies, little boys and girls who are bullies, those are little terrorists, And we have those little pictures of terrorism every day at home. Fathers who are coming home drunk, they are terrorists. Okay? People who are holding you up in the streets, or they're holding up banks, they are terrorists. All right? And actually, in its immediate meaning, terrorist is a guy who is violently taking away something from you. Your peace, your peace, your property, your chance, for good future. But, symbolically speaking, we are surrounded, by so many terrorists around. There are political terrorists, there are scientific terrorists. Terrorist is a guy who is a hacker. And hackers are terrorists. And those are digital terrorists, who are in our way, to be happy. Very often those hackers are destroying our systems, which is so bad, and we're losing money, and we're losing patience, and we're even losing our health over it, right? So let's not be afraid of terrorists. Let's just be smart enough, good enough, intelligent enough to outsmart the terrorists. It's our goal to outsmart them. We cannot sacrifice ourselves. We cannot victimize ourselves, you understand? But we have to outsmart them. You see?
Bravo.
All right.
Bravo. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Stop, please.
Okay.